Hello, my friends. This is Lynda Lippin, and welcome to the Pilates Goddess podcast. Well, hello, my friends. It's Lynda Lippin, and welcome back to the Pilates Goddess podcast. I apologize for not recording or uploading anything last week. I had a crazy week. I wasn't feeling well. I had literally a lot of extra stuff going on in my life that is now kind of resolved. And I'm feeling better about things moving forward. So let us start this week. And this week we're actually finishing the mat. We are done with the mat as of Thursday. So I just wanted you all to know that. Today, we will be discussing leg pull front through Boomerang. Now, if you think about how much we've already done on the mat, we've been side lying, we've been prone, we've been supine, we have hyperextended, we have flexed, we have articulated our spines in different directions, we've done rotation. We've done a little bit of weight bearing on our arms, right? And a lot of stabilizing of our powerhouses and midsections. And this next little series of leg pull front, leg pull back, kneeling side kick, side bend, and boomerang is going to take us through a lot. So let's first start with leg pull front. Leg pull front. We also call it leg pull front support. Can sometimes help you remember that. The way I look at it is my arms are in front of me. Okay? Leg pull front, my arms are in front of me. So you essentially are in a plank for leg pull front, right? We've come out of swimming. And then we are coming out into a full plank. And then from that plank, you are lifting one leg. You are extending the hip, keeping the leg straight. And once you lift it in the classical realm, you lift your leg up, and then the standing leg, your left heel, would drop back and go forward, and then you'd switch legs. So you have a little bit of, what you might call in fitness a body saw, a little bit of that sense of long stretch going on. So then you would lift up your left leg, press the right heel back, bring the right heel forward, replace your left foot, and just continue on with that, right? So it's right leg up, left heel drops back and forward, replace the right foot, left leg up, right heel drops back and forward, replace the left foot. So the idea is that you are just maintaining this beautiful lifted plank position. All of your support muscles are working. Your spine stays steady. Your torso stays steady. You get a really deep stretch into that calf and into the back of your heel and in through your feet. You get some footwork there. It's footwork in a single leg. If you think about it, it's relevantly similar to running in a completely different relationship to gravity, and with one foot off the ground. Now, to modify this, you bring it down to all fours. You can play with taking one leg out, going into a bird dog, playing with both legs down, one arm forward, different ways of tripod through the body, keeping the spine steady, bringing one leg back, and then working toward the fuller knees off position, and then working towards the lifting of the leg. Now, you may notice, like the lifting of the leg, you've already done in swimming, you've already done it in your side kicks, like that extension is warm, right? So we take it here. Now, I think if you just think about the position of the shape here, you see it all over once again, all over the studio. It's in everything from the long stretches on the mat in terms of things like the push-up. On the reformer, you see it in other exercises than long stretch, right? You see it in a little bit in up stretch. You see this work in the knee stretches. You see this work a little bit on the long box. You can see this work in the hamstring curls. And yes, I did say hamstring curls because the body is prone and you were extending your hips and using your hamstrings. It's really just a great exercise, and there's no reason to be scared of this exercise, okay? You can start it with some support. I have taught this in a more contemporary situation with somebody with a ball under their pelvis and hands on the mat and, pushing back and pulling forward. So there's, different ways of playing with that with more kind of contemporary tools. You can also, like I said, take people down to all fours. You can also play with this positioning on the Wonder chair with the pelvis on the chair in things like swan and the double and single arm presses, right, on the chair. So keep in mind of all the places in the studio where we do a just nice, solid, extended torso that is prone and lifting a leg. All right. So, yeah, we're just bringing it up off the ground now, so it's a little bit harder. Then we transition to leg pull back, which I sometimes will call leg pull back support. The arms are back. The arms are behind you. It's essentially a reverse plank. Okay, elbows are extended, legs are extended, you're lifting up your butt and you're kicking up a leg. Really, that's what you're doing. In a modified version, you don't have to do the kicks, maybe just lift and lower. You may also find, and I find for my hyperextended knees and my unstable sacroiliac joint, that sometimes it could be more useful for me to keep my knees bent and my feet on the mat in more of like an elevated bridge and do the leg kicks down and up from there. So you have options, of where you want to take your clients. And of course, like anything, including really leg pull front, you can also take this down to a forearm plank or be on your forearms with your arms behind you and your chest up. So once again, you kind of see the similarities and modifications, right? We're shortening the lever, we're reducing ranges of motion, working towards more stability. But again, the leg pull front and the leg pull back are plank moves. They're essentially taking moves that we've already done in the mat and bringing them away from the floor so that we're having to use either the front or the back of our body to support us while we do things from the other side. Then we come to the kneeling side kick, which I frankly really love. And I didn't always love it. So we'll discuss this. Now for the kneeling side kick, you're starting on both knees. You extend one leg out to the side. You bring that same side hand behind your head so the elbow is out. And then you basically lean over on the standing knee until your hand hits the mat. Then you lift up the straight leg and you commence kicks. This exercise is all about the obliques. It's all about the lats. It's all about the stability in the side body. There is also a lot of hip stability and mobility happening here in both the standing bottom leg and the leg that is moving. You're trying not to move the torso a lot. You're really pulling up through the ribs from the bottom, pulling up from your hips from the bottom, pulling up from your shoulder blade from the bottom as you kick the leg, and then you come back up on both knees and tip to the other side. I love a kneeling side kick. And in a way, if you've ever done, kickboxing or any of the boxing workouts, this is, it's kind of similar to getting into a roundhouse kick position and then just doing front back kicks from there. So I think this is useful. I think this somewhat came from Joe's boxing background, but here we are. The kneeling side kick is considered an advanced exercise. Now know that for the leg pull front, the leg pull back, the kneeling side kick, pretty much everyone can do these, okay? The spine is not moving in these. So as long as you or your clients have the stability in your midsections and your torso and your butts and your abs to do this work without moving your spine all over the place, you should be doing this. These are great for people with low bone density. You are literally weight bearing on the whole body. Front and back and side. These, kneeling side kick, you might want to watch for somebody with a hip replacement where they might, it might be too much hip mobility for them. But again, other than those cases, and frankly, you could always put something underneath their waist if you needed to help support the hip a little bit. This is a great exercise, all right? It's taking the side kicks again and elevating it. So that's what I want you to note in these 3 exercises. We're taking movements we know and getting them up off the ground and using our bodies to both super stabilize and move. So again, more complexity is happening, not necessarily in the actual exercise, but complexity in what your body and your nervous system has to do to stay there. Then we come to the side bend. The side bend is essentially a mermaid stretch. Okay. And it can be done in a number of ways, which is interesting. So you can first just sit with both legs to the side bent. And then the opposite arm, so if your legs are off to the left, your right arm will lift and you'll take a big side stretch over towards the left. Then you'll bring your right hand down to the mat and kind of slide out away from your legs as if you were on the reformer. And then you kind of slide back up, get onto your hip and go into that side stretch. You do both sides. However, we do know that there is a more advanced version of this side bend, which is more like what? A side plank. Yes. So you can come up into a side plank. Now, in the full version of the exercises, your feet are stacked, your arm is straight, your body doesn't move. You come up into just a stable, long side plank. Top arm is lifted, and then we add a lift of your rib cage up to the ceiling, a big side bend to the side. We come back. We add a rounding a little bit forward, kind of dropping the chest toward the floor a little bit and bringing our hand under our torso. And then we can lift the arm up and take a slight backward bend. This is similar to star on the reformer. Okay, in terms of what you're doing with the torso, you can also do versions of this on the spine corrector, the small barrel, other places. Versions of the side bend show up on the Wonder chair, on the reformer. Once again, guys, they show up kind of everywhere. And then you would move to the other side. Of course, there are ways of modifying it. You can modify it into a shorter kind of side twist where you bend at the knees. Say you've bent both knees, your feet are off to the right, your left hand is on the mat. You're going to lift up your butt to the ceiling, drop your head, and take your right hand and bring it between your torso and your legs, and then come back out of that. And that's a nice way to start that process of moving toward the full side plank. You are in a much smaller position. It's easier to control. And then we have the boomerang. Now, I personally love the boomerang. The boomerang is a great combination of teaser, open leg rocker, rollover, jackknife, and the arms from rowing, actually, on the reformer. I learned this, you start seated. Your right ankle is crossed over your left ankle. Your hands are next to you. You rock your pelvis back, you lift your legs up, and you're balancing in a teaser. Your arms reach up and forward. Your arms come back behind you. You clasp your fingers. You slowly lower your legs down with your abs in, and then you send your body forward over your legs. You open your arms out to the side and stretch forward. That's the beginning. Come back up. Do one more exactly like that. And then do one with the other ankle crossed over. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when we get into the bigger picture here, you're going to be changing your ankles. So now for the full boomerang, you rock the pelvis back, you lift your legs. You find your balance. You roll all the way back to your shoulders, legs going back overhead, parallel to the floor. Open your legs hip width. Close your legs, crossing them the other way. Control your roll up to balance in your teaser here. Arms go out to the side, they go back. Legs slowly lower. You stretch over your legs. Open the arms, stretch over your feet. Stack your spine up. Do it again. Rock back. Legs come up. Go all the way back into the shoulder. Stand. Open your legs. Cross the ankle the other way. Come up, balance in your teaser. Reach your arms back behind you. Control the lowering of your legs. Drop your head towards your knees, lifting your arms up. Big stretch, arms open over the legs, and stack your spine right back up. And that's your boomerang. That's literally the whole thing. Boomerang, like I've said, is a combination of teaser, open leg rocker, overhead and rollover. Boomerang is not for folks with osteoporosis. Once again, we are taking exercises and movements we have already done. We're adding a little complexity to those movements. So, next episode on Thursday will be the last one, and we are looking at seal through push-up. So I hope you found this helpful. You know, if you have a client or you are struggling with something like leg pull back, say, and then you're on the reformer and you're having issues with long back stretch, right, where you're going into the tricep dip at the end of the long stretches, curling out and coming back in, know that these exercises are relevantly similar, right? So the more, like I say, always Pilates is a system. So if you're having trouble in one place, do a similar movement in another place, and you'll get that strength. All right? So have a great rest of your day, my friend. Thank you so, so much for listening. As always, if you loved the podcast, please leave a rating and a written review if possible, because that will help others find the podcast. And I also encourage you, if you like it, to share, because once again, it will help other people find the podcast. All right. So Thursday, we are finishing up the mat. And then I've got some great interviews coming up and all kinds of other fun. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much. And if you need to reach me for any reason, email me, Lynda at lyndalippin.com, spelled just like my name. Or go to pilatesgoddess.com and hit the contact me button, or lyndalippin.com, or DM me on social media. There we are. Talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Pilates Goddess podcast. Music brought to you by Nerd Salad. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts, especially if you liked it. And please like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks.